What's up, guys? This is SanchoWest alongside my co-host Dr.Bacon, and this is the CheckPoint
Amigos
show. Yes, this is the CheckPoint Amigos show, episode 6, and we have a lot of things to cover today. For those of you who are new to the podcast, welcome. Bienvenidos. I guess we're trying to be a little bit bilingual. I don't speak Spanish, though. I'm sorry.
That was Spanish just now.
I know, but I don't speak it. I understand it. Yes. That's a callback. For those of you new to the show, what we do is this is the weekly checkpoint save for your nerdy lives, where we bring up a big topic and then we go through all the weekly news that happened in the previous week, so that way you're kept up to life, and that way, you know, you got some things to tell the other cool kids at your party so you could feel like the cool nerd.
Yay!
Always important to feel like the cool nerd at the party. So what we do, we have the big save, and then we have the weekly checkpoint, which covers all the news, and then we have next level. I'm getting it right.
And you are so far.
Yes. And then it is the old save, where we talk about old stuff and we have a wrap up and we give you recommendations, all those kinds of things. And it's fun times all around. We just got back from Texas, where we celebrating the wedding of our good friend B Magic, who got married to a beautiful woman. Shout out to them, and we're very happy, and we had a great time. How was your trip back home in Texas? Did you enjoy all the food there, Dr. Bacon?
I had so much fun, so much food, and so much of everything else. Saw Deadpool again.
I did too. I saw Deadpool again. I think it holds up.
Yep. It was just as good the second time. Heard a lot of jokes I missed the first time because I was too busy laughing.
Now, we were supposed to do this podcast Saturday, but we both flew in early, and we were kind of tired, and we wanted to bring the energy, so that's why we did it. Now we're doing this on Sunday.
So, yeah, we're doing it on Sunday after we just had a big lunch. Not ready for a nap or anything. Hashtag bad idea.
Hashtag Frito Pie Delicious. I myself, speaking of on the flight back, I decided, you know, my wife gives me a big deal that I've never seen The Sound of Music. Now, The Sound of Music was available on the plane. Did not know it was a 3-hour event. Did not have enough time to see it all, but it was the perfect movie to go to sleep to. And I don't mean it as a bad movie. The singing's beautiful. I love all the songs.
Right.
Have you seen Sound of Music?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I'm very curious now.
Well, it's the Hills Are Alive.
With the sound of Griswold. Yes.
And it has the whole Von Trump family.
Right.
Goodbye. See, I know all.
Alf Ederson.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew all.
We know the songs.
Right. So I knew all the songs, but I did not know what happens. So it's basically about Austria, who gets occupied by Germany, and this whole Von Trump. Anyway, the whole point of it is, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. I might spoil it for the people out there. But here's my gripe about it, because I woke up and they had this like a festival at the end, and the Von Trump family is singing. And this is my little sidebar derail segment real quick, and then we'll get to the actual show itself. So they're singing, and then like the whole point of it is for them to escape and get away without the Nazis knowing that they got away. But they make them the winner of this festival, and they have to clearly go accept an award. And then like the thing is like the Von Trapp family pans over to where they're supposed to come out. They don't come out, and the guy keeps doing it like to stall. And then a German officer goes, "They're gone!" And then
and then credits.
No. Well, then it causes this huge chase scene. My point is, like, if you would have rigged the contest so they wouldn't win and they didn't have to come out, then they would have been able to get away. That was my gripe.
Wow.
That was my biggest gripe.
Wow.
And that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That was my American airline flight choice.
Hey, if you're going to derail and talk about your flight, I'm going to talk about my flight real quick.
Go ahead, quickly.
Southwest Airlines. For me, I say they're the safest group, because if they weren't doing their constant checks that they do, I would possibly not be here doing this podcast. Because in the middle of the exits are here, and there. In the middle of that, everything just turned off. The plane died.
What if it wasn't an EMP shock, you know?
Well, because people on their cell phones were still using their cell phones.
That's what did it. You didn't put it on airplane mode, so they just shut everything off.
I said the people on their cell phones. I didn't say I still had reception on my cell phone. No, my cell phone was off because I was trying to go to sleep.
It
was 7 in the morning.
EMP shock knocks off all technology.
Because my heart implant, what are those called?
Pacemaker?
My pacemaker was still working. That's how I know.
You got one of those?
Yeah.
Really?
You didn't know that?
No.
I'm totally lying to you.
You're biting.
Wow, thanks for thinking that I am that unhealthy that I'm not even 40 and I have a pacemaker.
Like,
golly, I don't eat that much bacon.
I was
Yes,
thinking
I
about
do.
I thought you were like Krusty the Clown.
No, Homer has it. No, Krusty has it. Yeah,
Krusty,
you're right.
Krusty.
Yeah.
That was the sidebar of the show. Now we're going to get to the meaty topic of the show.
Oh, yeah, I was an hour and a half late.
We're on an hour and a half late. A quick thing about the show itself. We are on iTunes. We're on SoundCloud, which we're going to be on another home. But for now, we're on SoundCloud. And you can find us on iTunes. And, of course, we're on YouTube as a video form podcast, a long form. We always recommend you just put us on and chill out. We will do our best to put video, things like that, in the background so you keep yourself entertained. But it's best used to, do chores with or play video
Some
games.
background while you play video game, yeah.
Play the video games. Play those long-form games. The best thing to do for the CheckPoint Amigos.
Or put in a random movie that stars only 2 people and pretend that that's actually us. Like Tango and Cash.
I would be
with the voice of Sancho and Dr. Bacon.
I would be the Stallone character. Was his name Cash? No, his name was Tango.
I would totally be Kurt Russell.
You
I'm
would be
okay
Kurt
with
Russell.
that. Yeah. One of 3 men who can pull off a mullet.
So true. So true.
We have not even gotten to our first topic yet.
Here it is, the save. Here is the big topic of the show. This is a little bit different for those of you listening, the CheckPoint Amigos. What we did is I'm going to bring something that I wanted to talk about that's dear to my heart, and then Mr. Dr. Bacon's going to bring in something. So here is my show and tell for the big save, and it is going to be it just came out the past week was the Uncharted 4 story trailer. Now, we usually got a lot of things in the past, Dr. Bacon. We got the E3 demo, which was them in the jungle. We got the Madagascar E3. I'm sorry, PSX had them in the jungle, and then at E3 revealed the Madagascar city where they showed Sam and Drake fleeing from the shoreline. Now, this one is the big, mega, epic trailer that shows the whole storyline.
Very beautiful.
As an arc, and I am so hyped about this. So, my little segment about this is just going to talk about that trailer a little bit, my reactions. Of course, I was in Texas, so I couldn't do a traditional YouTube reaction to it, but I did get kind of very emotional in a way that it is, because I know those guys who made those trailers, Joe and James at Naughty Dog. They're amazing guys, and God, it's such a good trailer. It's rare that a video game trailer pulls it off. I could think like the Dead Island trailer was one of the best trailers I remember in a long time. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you had the Gears of War trailer with Mad World. That one was a fantastic trailer. Those really set the mood. But this one's kind of different because Nathan Drake is such a character in lore. And to have Naughty Dog have the, as we are bilingual, the cojones.
Wow. Okay, no more bilingual.
Okay, fair enough. To have the huevos.
Okay, that works better.
Okay, that works better. To say that this is the end. I mean, it would have been a nice surprise, but I think what they want to do is let you know that this is the end of this character, Nathan Drake. And I really think that this is going to be, by far, the longest Uncharted game ever. Because according to this trailer, you see them in a snow environment. You see this in the jungle environment.
A lot of environments.
They're in the underwater environment. They're in the island environment. They're in the city environment. And for those of you who don't know, Naughty Dog, what they do for the Uncharted games is like, okay, we did the jungle in Uncharted 1. Let's go ahead and tackle snow. And so Uncharted 2, a big chunk of it was in the snow. All right, we did the snow. Let's actually do desert. So they did. Uncharted 3 was desert. So now that it kind of reminds me how Pixar slowly and surely keeps adding new tech to their engine.
Right.
And then, like
for Monsters Inc., it was the hair.
Right, was the hair and the fur and natural things like that. And then you got The Incredibles, was more the explosions and the water and all the environment. And then Good Dinosaur, which I haven't seen, apparently is a max-up of all that. So yeah. So
it's a good extra feature to watch.
Right, it has fire, it has all the hair elements, and then so that's what I think that Naughty Dog is bringing to this. Now, for the story itself, of course, for those of you who don't know, Nathan Drake got out of the game. He's retired. His brother shows up out of nowhere, and he tells him, hey, it's like that. It's always that great. I love those movies. It's like, one last ride, man. I need you, brother, for one last ride. Kind of reminds me of Gone in 60 Seconds, the Nick Cage movie.
You break it, you buy it, my friend.
I love that movie. Gone in 60 Seconds was a great movie. It's
Sure.
a guilty pleasure movie.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, Eleanor and all that kind of stuff. So
it's a background movie while you're cleaning the house.
yeah, you look over, you're like, yeah, Nick Cage, you get that car. So it has that. There's that brother element, and then what ends up happening is whatever job that Sam sends him out to gets him involved with Shoreline, which is the South African mercenary group, like this private army, and Nadine's in it, and and they go off into their own world. What's cool about this trailer, back to the point of the trailer, is that it introduces new characters. There's a guy named Rafe who's supposed to be like the antithesis, like the, how in every superhero movie there's someone who's the exact opposite. So he kind of fills that role of forgetting his name. Flynn has that role where he's like the anti-Drake. So this he's just as witty, and looks very dangerous. And Nadine, this is surprisingly, is the muscle, because her father used to own this mercenary group, and now she runs it. So she's like a general, and she literally kicks Drake's ass in the and there's a different trailer that shows Nadine, or a little spotlight check, and Nadine's kicking Drake's ass. So regarding the trailer's overall arc, there's a lot of voiceovers, of course, things like that, saying like, one last ride, we're gonna do this for each other, and then Elena's in there, and then he breaks her heart. And what I like about it, and here's my prediction for the Uncharted storyline. Hopefully I get to make a video on this. But it's going to do a lot of the downbeats, and a lot of the downbeats of the action is going to be flashbacks to him living a normal life. Did you play Red Dead Redemption all the way to the end?
I never played it.
Oh, well,
I watched your videos of it.
Right. There's this great part in the game where you think it's over, but it reverts back to simpler missions, so you thinking that life is normal. I'm not going to spoil it too much for you, but
it's okay to spoil. It's an old game. It's my own.
Well, I don't want to spoil it for the people out there, because it's a fantastic game, and hopefully they remake it. So my prediction is you're going to see a lot of the home life of Drake in flashback form. Either that, or it flashbacks, because in the trailer. And it was a little controversial moment, Dr. Bacon, because in the first time they released the trailer, and I know this feeling as a YouTuber, you get so anxious that you want to show something to the world that you kind of skip over details. And apparently they used concept art from Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed's Black Flag, and they put that it was a placeholder, and they accidentally left it there. And I could know that, when you stare at something so long and you're grinding over it, they messed up. And because of that messed up, they had to re-release the trailer. But anyway, so I wouldn't say steal. Steal is such a harsh word.
Yeah.
And I think there were a lot of clickbait articles out there because say Naughty Dog steals art, and I wouldn't say they stole it. It was just a mistake. And Naughty Dog was cool about it. They came right out. Neil Druckmann came out and said it was a mistake. We fixed it, and they re-uploaded it like in a split second. Anyway, so Drake looks at this painting, and he's looking at this painting, and it zooms in. And it flashes to him in that island. So I'm thinking it'd be cool. I don't know if they're going to do this. Is that if he looks at the painting, and you get to play an adventure in that when he's younger, and it's kind of like a non sequitur moment in his life that it's just high pulp, crazy action, and it doesn't need any explanation because it's just a flashback. Like that'd be kind of fascinating because most flashbacks are more story-driven based, but I hope that Uncharted 4 has action-based flashbacks to supplement.
Oh yeah, it was
right.
Yeah,
so he could be like, man, I really do miss those times. Because what's really cool that I'm predicting is that they're adding a soul to the Nathan Drake character that we could relate to. Because it was really hard to relate to Nathan Drake because he's just this, he makes quips, he's funny. He's high action, and there's always that joke that he ends up murdering so many people and doesn't have like any care in the world. But it's supposed to be like a high Indiana Jones kind of concept. But what the Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley is doing is that they're making him relatable, because as you get older in life, as I'm sure you know, because we're all getting older, we have this feeling of living in the past. Like we always think like the past is the best of times,
because all you remember is the bliss,
right? And so I hope in that they explore that in Nathan Drake's character, and that you live in that bliss that he had, so that way you feel sorry for him and you relate to him like, yeah, man, I remember reflecting back on my college years, or I remember reflecting back on my high school years, thinking that those were the best of times. And that way, he looks at this painting and he sees him struggling, and he sees him, you go through his adventure, and then I'm sure it's going to flash right back to him being with her on the couch, trying to be normal. It kind of reminds me of, we always read this movie up, but in The Incredibles, how he's trying to live a normal life and he just seems to can't fit in.
Right. And he misses the superhero days.
He misses, yeah. And so, I think that's what's going to happen a lot. And of course, what ends up happening is it's going to take him to a place where something has to happen. A thief's end is in the title, so a lot of people are speculating Sully's going to die, or Sam's going to die, or Drake's going to die. Something has to happen to shake him out of this life. But I really don't think, just because I don't think a thief's end means death. It just means he's not a thief anymore.
Right. Retirement.
He's retiring. So I think that would be the best way to handle it in that case. So anyway, the trailer itself is cool, and it shows like him. I think one of the most coolest parts of the trailer is that he's in a bell tower and it's falling apart, and he's like falling down this tower, and I think that's just a significant it's like that moment shows that time, like he's battling with time. I mean, I may be looking too deep with it, but knowing Naughty Dog, but I think he's like, time is breaking apart in front of him, like his future and his past, all of it's colliding all at once, and it's crumbling around him.
Right.
Like that sensation. It's like a brief moment. And so I really do believe that that's the thing that what catches up to everybody. No matter if you're a sports guy, actor, whoever, time is always after you, and time is always your biggest enemy. So I think that's going to be something that we all could relate to. And then one of the only parts in it was that there's this guy who shows up, who people speculate that's his father. He has like a very thick Spanish accent. And he's like, "Are you ready to seek your fortune?" So like he's in jail and whatnot, because the story of Nathan Drake is that he was like he's definitely an orphan. So no one knows who's his father. No one knows who he's from. I often speculate that Sam's not really his brother. You ever seen those movies where some guy is missing, like Addams Family, Fester.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Fester was missing, and no one knew where he was, and he was like in some kind of different dimension, and Gomez Addams misses the hell out of him, and then this guy shows up out of the blue. He's like, "Hey, I'm Fester," and then he immediately believes him, even though, there a lot of things didn't add up, and then he eventually, I don't even know if he really is his brother. I think he just grows to be his brother.
No, he is.
I know. It was just like such a weird.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like
it did end up being he was really Fester. So he had amnesia.
Right. So that's the thing. Like I'm thinking with Sam, like this guy is a scam artist, and he shows like, "Hey, dude, I'm your brother. I got shot here. Don't you remember?" Because a lot of the scam artists just take advantage.
Yeah, they just little bits of fact that they have, and they construct a story from it.
Right, and then they just tell him like, "Oh yeah, you remember?" And then they're like, "Yeah, I remember." So the whole trailer I think is phenomenal, and it's just the story. And again, the things that I want for you guys, the people out there who are listening, I want to take away with it from this my little portion here is that they're gonna make Nate relatable to us. They're gonna make him human in the sense that he's gonna face the same things that we deal with and that we can relate to. And there's still gonna be action. There's gonna be a lot of high adventure as well. It's going to go all over the world on this one, because considering it's the last one, they're going to explore all these different environments. It's going to be a long-ass game, really long. Like, no doubt in my mind it's going to be long, simply because I don't see them going to so many different places and being
like Lord of the Rings extended edition long.
Yeah, like I don't really, because like another thing that the trailer showed, one last thing, was like the scale of the levels. Like Nate and Sam are driving up, and you see like they're in the South African like safari lands, and it's just like huge and vast. So there's going to have a lot of that scale, and I don't think, because I don't really think Naughty Dog will Naughty Dog does not mess with pace. They're really keen on pace of a game. So it's going to have this huge scale and epicness. There's going to have flashbacks, because you go back to when young Sam and young Nathan Drake were running around, looking like the Hardy Boys, running around trying to solve adventures. One thing, a big shout out to this guy named Panda Musk. He made this photo of young Nathan Drake and young Sam looking at a map and with the Goonies amulet, that little pendant. So that's the things I want to take away from the trailer. That it's going to be long. It's going to explore Nathan Drake, and he's going to make him a very, very. He's going to give him layers. And if it's the last ride for Nathan Drake, and I'm taking what Naughty Dog says, it's going to be an epic ride. is going to be a phenomenal ride, and that's just the single player. The multiplayer, the multiplayer is going to make that game awesome beyond the single player. But I'm really excited for the game. Of course, for those of you who listen to my SanchoWest YouTube channel, it's going to be huge for the channel, considering that's another Naughty Dog title, and hopefully a lot of you guys would go from it. But I was floored, man, and that was the only time I was like, man, I wish I was back home so I could make a proper video for it.
Should have gotten married another time, be magic.
Should have got married at another time, be magic. But that was my little homework assignment, or that's what I'm bringing for you, the big save. Comment down below with your thoughts on the Uncharted 4 trailer. Hopefully I'll have a time to, because I really want to do like a mismatch of all the trailers to figure out what's happening.
Oh, okay.
Who knows if I have time.
Yeah.
I just wish I had time. So, Dr. Bacon, what are you bringing to today's big save?
So, as reported this last week, Batman v Superman is going to get an R-rated home entertainment release. So, in an IGN article by Michael Martin, the theatrical release of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice may be rated PG-13, but Warner Brothers is apparently preparing an R-rated home entertainment version of the film. FilmRatings.com has revealed an R-rated Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman, which includes sequences of violence, which means it's going to have some harder action scenes. But with the film's darker tone, it stands to reason Warner Brothers may have been influenced to release a more violent version of Batman v Superman, perhaps in part thanks to the success of the record-breaking opening for the R-rated Deadpool. Now, as great as that is, that we're going to get some better, possibly better action sequences from BVS. One, why change it for the home release? Just leave it as is or change the theatrical version. Two, you're doing it for the wrong property, Warner Brothers. Superman, I mean, I somewhat understand for Batman, especially considering his villains. But for Superman, Superman is like the superhero kids remember first growing up. Superman is their introduction to a new world of fantasy, fiction, and just an escape from reality. So Superman is supposed to be there for everyone. You don't make him exclusive to adults. You want to have your R-rated movie? You have your Suicide Squad property. That's the movie that should be rated R, especially with Harley and Joker and Killer Croc in there and Katana. You're almost there, Warner Brothers. You're just taking a couple of missteps, and Batman v Superman is one of them.
Well, one thing I want to ask you about is like, what kind of violent scene can they have that they can't have in the movie? Like,
right,
is Superman gonna melt somebody with his?
It's possible. It's possible that's gonna happen, or maybe I'm guessing Batman is gonna hurt Superman enough with the kryptonite that there's gonna be images of blood, because that's one of the things with violence that determine between PG-13 and R how much blood is a result from the action action sequences.
So my thing is like, do you think Batman is an R property himself, like the Dark Knight?
That's the weird part. Batman, no. Some of his villains, yes. Joker, Mr. Zsasz, Killer Croc. Those are definitely, even Two-Face. Those are R-rated villains. But Batman himself, especially considering his code of how he doesn't kill, even some of his torture, his torture for getting information for criminals, I don't think that's R-rated. He knows how to push the boundaries, and you know, as if I'm talking as if Batman has an approach that he knows his life is going to become a film. He knows how to keep it PG-13.
One other thing is that I'm interested in is like, there's this huge resurgence, and we brought this in a previous article, that Deadpool is now the reason or the one that kicked the door down for superheroes being rated R. So, but like, why is DC getting involved in this?
They want to take those steps to have that success. As much as excited as we nerds are about this finally happening, Warner Brothers is too concerned on the money, which I understand. You know, you've got to make a profit to keep making these films, but you know, if you start stepping back and realizing you're kind of messing with things, kind of like ruining our childhood, like we were talking about. You're not necessarily ruining our childhood. You're excluding some kids from having this kind of childhood. These kids should be able to say in their 30s or in their 20s and 30s, they're like, oh, I watched BVS when I was little and it was great. But, you know, they're not even going to get to see this R-rated, well,
Well, here's
lawfully speaking.
Here's the
I
thing
guess.
that's interesting. Now that it's just the movie release at home. The home release would be rated R.
That's the weird part.
Yeah, and the movie release is PG-13. Obviously, they want to take advantage of the cash grab. But the only things that I could see being a hard R, not like a crazy. I don't think it's R due to, as it says in the article that you read, it's not due to language.
No, it's not going to be the language. It says it's because of the violence. If it's not what I'm thinking with Batman possibly hurting Superman, it's either going to be from Doomsday or Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman is bloodthirsty.
Or the Joker. The Joker is supposed to be in Batman vs Superman for like a split second. Like he's supposed to have like
that's going to be one hell of a split second.
Right. Wait. I may be crossing my words.
Unless the rumors
Batman
that were
is supposed to be in Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah.
That's where I'm crossing.
Well, there was that rumor for a while that Robin was going to be in BVS in a flashback. And we were supposed to see, like, it was supposed to be, I think, Jason Todd, and we were going to get a flashback and see what happened to him between him and the Joker, a la, Death in the Family from back in the 80s. Now, if we had proof that were in there, I would be behind this R rating. But again, I would still say make the whole thing an R rated. Make the actual film theatrical release an R rated. Don't go wishy-washy on this.
It's such a strange move. That's all like that, and I'm glad that you brought it here because it's like because you brought it here and I was like I read the article. I was like, wow, that's really weird. It's really weird for them to have like a two different setting and at the same time announce it now. Like, why make the announcement now?
The timing is too obvious that it's related to Deadpool. It is. I have to give them props. It is a very big gamble to make on this. But they're taking their chances, and I'm thinking they're taking the wrong chances. But they're taking chances. They do want to give us. Hopefully, they want to give us the movie we deserve.
So at the same time, you have to say that they did then record R-rated stuff.
Yeah.
Like they filmed.
I mean, come on, it's Zack Snyder. I was surprised.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
300. Watchmen. Was a Watchmen rated R?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Scene in the Owl.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Definitely. And the thing is, like, what I'm excited about. I mean, Batman vs Superman is going to come up in this podcast a lot until it hits.
Even for a while after that.
And really well. I've been talking to Dr. Bacon about this. I'm really excited for this movie because it's going to be one of those movies that it's going to determine where superhero movies are going to go.
It's potentially a game changer.
And it's going to determine what DC does because DC's taking a big risk because a lot of people were speculating that they would do the Marvel route and you have a single picture film with Superman, another one because it was supposed to be Man of Steel 2. It was supposed to be that.
And then they changed the title, and then it got to a point where they said, no, not only is it a title change, this is not Superman 2. This is its own movie.
Right.
And Superman or Man of Steel 2 will eventually happen later.
And then on top of that, it added Dawn of Justice to the title.
Right.
So now we're getting Justice League is going to start at this point in this movie. So now you're getting so many things.
Yeah.
So many properties, I would say, are riding on this movie.
One thing that I think they know about that does worry me, especially with all these chances they're taking, I think they're trying to prevent in the situation where this is a bad movie, this may be the catalyst for the decline of our golden age of superhero movies.
We made that prediction before.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends. This, I would say, more than ever, because when we previously said that in a Checkpoint Amigos, we didn't have a movie as a mile marker, so to speak, or like a fork in a road that could determine whether it flies or dies.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you on that. So that was. Anything else you got to say about?
Yeah, if anything, in terms of a movie that'll start the decline, all these single superhero movies, they can be bad all they want. It won't affect too much, Iron Man 2. It's the big team-up movies. If any of those are bad, that's what's going to start the decline.
Yeah, I mean, Civil War looks cool, but it's not the same Civil War in the comics. It's a little different. But for me, what I'm seeing right now, and just a quick little sidebar on Civil War, I don't see it as being this huge scale of a battle because the setting looks very small. Does that make sense? Like when you see these big, like complete, like 4 versus 4 superheroes, it's like huge. And then the trailer gives it off like it's on a base.
Yeah.
And then you know what? That's the thing. Like, and there's no Hulk in this one. or unless they're hiding it from us.
I think, yeah. Apparently, that's the rumor that he is going to show up.
Well, because that's the thing. Like,
And I think it's too early for Civil War.
It might be,
because I can understand changing basically the reason behind Civil War. Right. I can pretty much understand that. But it's the Civil War. It's supposed to be half against half, not these 4 guys or 4 or 5 people we know of so far. Maybe there's going to be a whole bunch of cameos, but still, I feel Civil War should happen after the Infinity War. I think they need to establish more of these superheroes knowing each other, being in the same universe, and then have it happen. Otherwise, don't call it Civil War. Just call it Captain America 3. I don't agree with Tony Stark.
Well, because that's what they're doing. They took this big scale. Because if you read the comment, it's like
it's a long story. Yeah, that's why I understand. Like, it's a whole lot of backstory to go through.
And what they did for the movie verse is that they scaled it down between Captain and Tony Stark, or Captain and Iron Man. So we'll see. Time will tell on those properties. And that's the little jingle for the song.
It's a horrible jingle.
Thank you. That was the big save. And of course, we have all the timestamps, so if you want to go ahead and flash forward, flash back, you can go to that little timestamp at the very beginning. On to the checkpoint, the weekly checkpoint. Let's go ahead. And there's a lot of news items on it. It's a little light a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and sprinkle this checkpoint.
It's light, but it's good stuff.
Good stuff. We're going to go ahead and sprinkle it in with some questions from the viewers. So if you have questions, you could go ahead and comment down below with the hashtag #AskAmigos. Or you could tweet me at SanchoWest, or you could tweet Dr. Bacon at BaconPhD. Yes, I think that's so. Or it could be PhD Bacon. Time will tell.
No, it's Bacon PhD.
There you go. You could tweet him at Bacon at BaconPhD with the hashtag AskAmigos, or you could just put it anywhere at hashtag AskAmigos on Twitter, and we will find it using that term, and we will hopefully answer some as well. So because we want to get you guys involved in the show as well. Here is the first news of the story. This comes from, I don't see where I wrote this from. Oh, it was from BG247. Broforce wins PlayStation Plus vote to be free on PlayStation 4 in March. So, for those of you who don't know, the PlayStation Network, the PSN Plus, now is starting to do this thing where you could vote to play what you want before they usually release something. So, Broforce, I played it a long time ago at PAX East when it was basically an alpha. And this game has been available a long time ago in Steam. So let me just give you a little piece of it, Dr. Bacon. What Broforce is. This is a player. The player character is a bro, a hyper-masculine action hero-style commando who fights terrorists and rescues his bro teammates. And when the player defeats a foreign devil boss, hoists an American flag, and leaves the via helicopter while the scenery explodes. The action heroes include John Rambo, Die Hard's John McClane, Chuck Norris, Mr. T, Aliens, Ellen Ripley, and Terminator T-800 by, his name is Brominator. The Broforce team is under direction of Nelson Brodella. The game's destructive environments wear away with the player's gunfire. So for those who haven't seen it, it's just a kind of like a 2D side scroller, but you blow up all your environments, and when you rescue somebody, POW, prisoner of war, you switch over to a different character, and instead of saying being Rambo, they're Rambro, and there's like bro, the commando guy is Bromando, so it's kind of, and RoboCop is Brobocop, and it's kind of cool because they all have their special, unique abilities. Right. So like the Chuck Norris character, he like throws grenades and stuff like that from what I remembered, and I haven't played it a long time ago, but essentially it's making its way on the PlayStation 4 on March and the following next month, I believe, maybe Tuesday. Not 100% sure, but if you are a PlayStation Plus member, it's free to download.
Yay!
The only bummer thing is not coming out on the Vita. I know I've been big on the Vita lately.
You are.
But it was perfect on the plane, and I played Freedom Wars on that bad boy. But that's going to be Broforce. And I'm excited that you're going to get into it because you didn't know about it. But it's going to be a PlayStation 4.
I'm definitely getting that.
Yeah. Next story. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I move on.
Oh.
What action movie from the 80s or in general that you would like to see made into a video game?
Oh. Ooh, that's a good question. Do you have one yet?
Yes.
Okay.
While you think about
yours?
that.
Yeah.
My game would be Escape from New York. Now, Snake Plissken is in this game, but I would love to see an Escape from New York video game, not Escape from L.A. Please do not ever bring up that movie again.
I liked it.
I liked the basketball scene in that movie.
Yeah.
That was amazing, and it was so cheesy. Steve Buscemi's in it. Anyway,
He made that shot.
I just like it how he's like, and where he presses the button and he goes, bow, 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 and then shows the satellites. And he's like, and he goes, and he has that line where it gets all dark. He's like, time for a new world. And then rock music comes in. Kurt Russell's amazing.
He is.
Anyway, so I would love to see an Escape from New York because there may be a version out there, but I want like legit, like Division type New York's broken down and you're Snake Plissken and you're going around and you have to find the president before the bomb goes off. Snake Plissken's a cool character.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. You know, I thought of two that I couldn't decide between, and then you said Escape from New York, so I thought of another one. So I'm just going to give you three. Krull, horrible 80s movie. Mm-hmm. Conan the Barbarian. And Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, Jack Burton.
Yeah, and the Pork Chop Express.
Oh, dude, that'd be cool. I love that scene where he drives in the alley. And then there's he's like the big rig, and he's like these two ninja like clans show up.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's just like, oh, what's going on here? One thing I wanted to bring up, you said, what was the middle one? You said
Conan the Barbarian.
Would the DLC be Red Sonja?
Ooh.
Huh? That would be the DLC. You know it.
Maybe.
I know it's.
I'll let you know when I get to work on this.
Well, definitely. Red Sonja wasn't officially spin-off of Conan.
No.
But Arnold practically played Conan.
Pretty much. Movie. Yeah.
Red Sonja.
Only if you could get that little kid.
Yes.
Boy? Boy? She calls me boy?
And he had like a helper, that big round guy.
Yeah.
You know what made that movie cool was that it had Kung Fu Asian elements in it.
My thing, though, for Conan the Barbarian, since he had all those archetypal fantasy class types with him, it'd be an RPG. So you have Conan the Barbarian, mm-hmm. You'd have your thief, you'd have your magician,
mm-hmm. I can see
the Valkyrie.
Yep. I like it.
Dang it, I want this now.
I know, right?
I'm good at this. I'm going to go make video games. Bye.
We have a Foley artist on set. Next story. Smite, Battleground of the Gods is coming to the PlayStation 4. Hosted by Amanda Erickson on the PlayStation blog, it says Smite is coming to the PlayStation 4. The game officially enters closed alpha testing on PlayStation 4 today. This was written on February 19th. And will begin closed beta which you can opt in now if you go to the website, and the link is in the description of the YouTube video for a chance to receive a free closed beta invite in the near future. Billed as the Battleground of the Gods, Smite features more than 70 playable gods and mythological creatures from all around the world, all battling for domination across 6 intense game modes. Created by Hi-Res Studios in 2013, Smite currently supports a global community of more than 14 million players and will grow even more when the PlayStation 4 comes out. Smite's team-based action, third-person controls, and deep roster of playable gods make it an ideal fit for the PlayStation 4. It will become the biggest MOBA ever to go from PC to PlayStation 4. So they got all these concepts. It's basically free to play, just like all MOBAs. They rotate their characters. They do have a Founders Pack, which will be available for $30, which will give you like a lot of skins unlocked, a lot of gods unlocked, 400 gems, Ares, Soldier of Fortune, and a key for instant beta access. However, players who would rather join the beta for free, they can opt in to receive a free beta invite, and you just go to the website. So my thoughts on this is that I don't play League of Legends, I don't play Smite or Heroes of the Storm, but I find it interesting that there's a lot of crossover more than the Microsoft side of things from PC to PlayStation 4. And I really think that they really, PlayStation 4 or Sony, open up their doors to that because of all these indie titles coming out. Have you ever played Smite? Have you ever seen it? Okay, that's him leaving.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't afford the copyrights for Conan. What I missed? What I just missed?
You stood up that. You were waiting for that bit the whole time.
I was. No, yeah, for MOBA. Yeah, it's really intriguing. I think I might check it out because I have never played a MOBA game. I've never played Smite or Guild or anything like that. But you know, I'm always looking for something new to try out, and this might be my intro.
Well, the thing is that what I find that works better for me than playing MOBAs on a PC is that I'm really not that great with keyboard.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, I'm horrible.
I'm
at
just
that.
terrible.
That's why I just do the point and click games on a PC.
Yeah, like WASD. Like I'm good with that. but like hitting that Q, hitting the ERT.
Yeah, once Command and Conquer started getting all these weird shortcuts for the keyboard and the commands became really elaborate, I was like, okay. Tiberian Sun was the last one I played. I couldn't even get really past the 4th mission.
Now, it doesn't say if it's going to be a crossover between the PC and the PlayStation 4 community.
Oh, I thought it was.
I'm not quite... No, in terms of, like, if they could play against each other.
Oh, right.
It doesn't say that right now at the moment, but it's just saying that they're bringing the biggest MOBA over from PC to PlayStation 4. And very interesting to see that there's lots of MOBAs now moving over to the PlayStation 4. You have Paragon, which is another type of MOBA game that's going to be third person. That's coming soon as well. So we'll see the PlayStation 4 community continues and gets attracted to this game. Smite is like a huge one of the big games that people stream. So we'll see. I'm just not a MOBA player. Just like the minutia to understand the meta of the game is very complex. And I really feel like in terms of control, player skill, you have to be much more knowledgeable than Twitch skills in terms of controller skills and whatnot. And now I may be speaking out of turn because I don't know because I never played it. But I'm just saying, like,
if any of you have any thoughts, comment below.
Please. We're here as a community to educate each other. All right, next story, something a little bit more up my alley. Halo's The Arbiter is coming to Killer Instinct, and this comes from Polygon. Killer Instinct Season 3. This is from Michael McWhertor.
McWhertor.
Thank you. Next season of Killer Instinct will include a Halo crossover. The Arbiter from the Halo franchise will join the fighting games roster for its 3rd season.
Now, who is the Arbiter?
He was like the bad guy, basically. He's like the alien race that Master Chief fights, and then they, for some reason, Halo decided to make them friends.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all I know is Master Chief. I never played Halo.
It's like, if you ever played the games, it's like, you fight the little squeezy little dudes, the little gnomes.
Still haven't played it.
And there was that big dude like, roar.
Remember when I said I haven't played it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't played it.
So it's basically that for those people. And
oh, it's that guy. Yeah, the little squeeze.
No, don't you dare do it. So Microsoft 343 Studios and Iron Galaxy debuted the Arbiter today in new gameplay that appears to be missing a recognizable feature, the voice of Keith David, who has portrayed the character in the main Halo games. According to Frank O'Connor, franchise development director for Halo at 343, the Arbiter that appears in Killer Instinct is basically an Arbiter, but not that guy. He's not Keith David, which is by far he has the coolest voice.
Keith David has an awesome voice.
Yes, he does.
Go see They Live. Or rent They Live.
No, go see Man at Work. He's in that movie.
He is, yeah.
That movie with Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez, and Keith David plays the crazy army vet.
Golf clap?
That movie's so... Anyway.
That movie doesn't hold up, but it's fun to watch.
That's a whole other sidebar. Next story. The Division Beta breaks Destiny record for most players. This comes from Sharon.
Record breaker.
Record breaker. This comes from twinfinite.net. I like their website.
Cool.
Twinfinite. And it writes, Division's open beta closed today, ending 3 days of romping around pandemic-stricken New York. With its close comes the statistics from Ubisoft.
Settle down, Daffy.
I was thinking more of Sylvester. Including a record-breaking number of participants. Over 6.4 million players took part in the beta, according to Ubisoft, crowning it as the biggest beta for a new game brand to take place on the current generation platforms. The crown previously belonged to Destiny, which saw 4.6 million players in its beta.
That is insane.
Yeah. These millions of people played an average of 5 hours in game, roughly 2 of which were spent gallivanting inside a PvP Dark Zone. The Dark Zone allows players to turn on one another going rogue. Let's see. They said almost 50 of the players are dirty, loot-hoarding traitors, and they were 63,309,800,000 items extracted out of the Dark Zone, an unspecified number of which earned by stabbing allies in the back.
Wow.
So
are they encourage you to go rogue?
No, well...
Is that kind of what it seems like?
Well, that's the thing. It allows you to go rogue. So
right.
You could see someone with loot, and if you want to be a lazy, selfish bastard...
That's me.
You could say, oh, I'd rather kill you, and take the loot, and then extract it.
Right.
Here's my big thing about Division.
Tell us, Sancho. Tell us a story.
Take a seat, because I'm about to tell you. The thing is, I like the story. I love the setting. I love the atmosphere, all those kinds of things. It's very sci-fi, very, It has that. It has that. It's scratching some itches that I've been wanting to get into, especially like I Am Legend type of stuff. I love that kind of aspect. Now, the big thing that gets to me is that the PvP part. I know it's supposed to be like a lawless Wild Wild West type of deal, but it needs to have some sort of structure to be able to say like who's a better player in some kind of a leaderboard. Because
so there's currently no leaderboard, or do you think it's just for the beta?
No, it's not. It's not. The foundation of the PvP does not support that type of deal.
It's not trackable.
It's not supposed to be. They don't want.
Oh.
There's no like arena. There's no like team deathmatch. There's no domination. There's no objective based. All you're doing is just it's a PvP zone where you're going to find loot. You fight against NPC, and you have the ability to steal other people's stuff. Now that gets great and all for a while. The thing is, I don't see the growth. I don't see this. I see that it has a very short ceiling, because now don't get me wrong. Now if there's places where you could do team deathmatch, and you could have that arena type battle, that would be awesome.
Do you think this is something that they know about and will work on, or do you think they're taking the approach of like, oh, it's fine?
I think that it's not their intention. The latter. It's like this is what they want, and this is what their version of PvP is. Don't get me wrong. It is so scary when you're extracting things by yourself, and you're just sitting there waiting to get your stuff out because you don't know who's going to turn on you. Like that aspect's cool, but it's going to wear off because eventually you're going to have a bad night where someone steals your loot and you're not going to want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
I honestly see if I were to ever have like a good amount of loot and someone did that to me, I would quit the game.
It doesn't support lone wolves. Lone wolves out there, you're going to have to work really hard because they said the Dark Zone has the best gear. You're going to want it. If you're if you're a PvE player, you want the best gear while you're playing the game. To venture in that area, running the risk of losing your stuff, just because a group of 5 people or 4 people want to gang up on you. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I get the human element is much more dangerous than the AI, but at the same time, if you're going to do something like that, I would like to have some kind of traditional play mixed in with that for players that don't have that. Now, again, it's what they want to do. That's cool. That's what they want to do. But I think
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. That's my thoughts on Division, which comes out March 8th. Next story. Why neither Konami nor Kojima accepted Metal Gear Solid 5 DICE Award? Now,
this was out of left field.
Yeah. Now we did announce the DICE Awards in the last podcast we did. So essentially, this comes from Polygon again. This comes from Brian Crescente. I'm gonna put a little flair on that.
Yeah, I'm sure he appreciates that.
The boil of the story is 2 hours or so into the show, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain won the award for Best Adventure Game, but publisher Konami wasn't around to accept it. Instead, the presenters of the award essentially accepted the award on behalf of Konami, and it was very confusing. And I just want to talk about this because Hideo Kojima is like on this journey, a path by himself of distancing himself from Konami, and he was there at the award show and he didn't accept it. And he said he thought it was best he was told that it was best for the presenters just to accept it, just to make things easier for him. But I don't know, man. It's kind of like there's a lot of bad blood in the water between those two.
Apparently they're starting to get a lot of blood in a lot of places in the video game industry, and it worries me personally.
How so?
I'll give you a great example. Silent Hills.
Oh yeah.
And, that fell apart because of bad blood. Apparently there's rumor mill going that it might start up again, or at least something similar with the people involved originally. But, I don't want to... can't we all just get along?
Well, here's like something right here. The Konami made a statement that said that they were unable to have anyone there. Like, they were unable to send anyone there to accept the award. Which is, again...
Yeah, and if you want to see that moment, there's a link under the video.
Yeah, in the article. And it was just very awkward and weird. I think, at this point, no one's going to know anything about the Hideo thing, because I'm sure everyone is contractedly, legally not able to say anything. But
non-disclosure agreement.
I think one day someone's going to make an unofficial story about this. It's going to be very fascinating.
Yeah.
Very fascinating. And on a side note, Hideo Kojima made his own YouTube channel called HideoTube. In his first
great site.
Yeah.
Or great YouTube channel.
Yeah, what he did with his first episode was review basically his favorite movies of 2015. What I wanted to bring up though about Hideo is that he had this great way, and I told you this already. He had this great way of asking people to like, share, subscribe, because as a YouTuber, you have to do that. And he said, he's like, you control my fate. Please hit the subscribe button. And you're just like, wow, that's true. You do control.
It is so true.
But Hideo's so cool, man. He pulls out everything, and I'm really excited to see what he does for his first PlayStation exclusive game or console exclusive game. It's gonna be amazing because I
can't wait.
Because there's some reports saying that he didn't want to accept the award because it wasn't his true vision of the game.
Right. Yeah.
And to think that Phantom Pain was pretty cool, and to think that wasn't true Hideo, like you could see the Hideo in it, like because there's some cutscenes.
But it was weird. It was more of a Hideo influence, not a Hideo involvement.
Right, that makes sense. Like it was like Hideo light. And what I was seeing from PT was truly Hideo.
Yes,
because PT was crazy.
Man,
I have it.
I still have mine too.
Oh yeah. And I was like, every time I'm clearing out this thing, like,
nope, not deleting that because you'll never get it back.
Never. It's historical. It's like a moment in history.
And don't go looking for it because it's taken down. Don't fall for those eBay listings where they're selling the PS3 with the game on it because you still need that person's account. I'm sorry, PS4. Thank you.
Yeah. Speaking of historical things, on this past Monday, Ed Boon, the creator,
Dusty,
the man of Mortal Kombat, had his birthday. I still remember the first time playing Mortal Kombat on the arcade, and I was blown away. I just love how the characters look so... I miss that effect.
Yeah. I miss the real mocap. Or not mocap, but the actual live action.
Yes.
Yeah. Although, bringing that up, and I apologize for backtracking here, the next the new Mortal Kombat package coming out reminds me of why I'm not a fan of DLC. You come out with a game, then all this DLC happens, you got to pay extra, and then there's eventually a year of edition, or edition of the year, where it's everything, but it's all at the price the game originally was. Why didn't you just do that to begin with? So, sorry to backtrack to another podcast there.
Oh, no. Actually, we're in the future because we're going to talk about that too.
Hey!
But yeah, Ed Boon's his birthday, and I remember I do miss those live action because there was a certain charm to it.
There was.
It made it different. It made it say, like, this is a totally mature game because these are actual people. Granted, it's like they look crappy, but...
And those fatalities. Right. That was new for the time, too.
Right. And
it was either that or it wasn't even Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 1 was out at the time.
Right. So you had Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat, and you were like, Street Fighter was for kids, Mortal Kombat was for adults. And I remember, like... Because this was the days where no one knew how to do fatalities. Like, the game didn't tell you how to do fatalities. You had to figure it out.
And then when your friend found out how to do the pit ending.
And then you would go to the local arcade, and you go, oh, man, I'm going to get this guy with this fatality. And I remember my favorite fatality, the one I always knew how to pull off with Scorpions. I think it was like down back low punch. I may be messing that up, but it's like down, back, or down, forward. Anyway, shouts to you, Ed Boon. Don't think you listen to this I'm not going to sell myself short. You listen to this podcast, Ed Boon. We love you. I love you, Ed Boon.
He meant that as a statement, not a command.
It's a command.
Boon. Oh.
Command.
Oh.
Love command.
There you go.
Yeah. Next story. Sony's hosting a PlayStation VR press event next month. This comes from Joe Parlock from Destructoid. Now that Oculus and HTC have formally unveiled their launch plans for the... I can't really read today. For the
today?
Rift, yeah, today. And the Vive, that only leaves Sony left to show off the PlayStation VR, which, for those who don't know, it was called Project Morpheus for a long time. Well, according to IGN, Sony has begun sending out invitations to a press event in San Francisco on March 15th, where Sony will reveal all and allow those attending to get some hands-on time with the tech. It'll be interesting to see how much the PSVR costs. Some think it will need to be priced lower than the Rift for it to succeed, but the argument can be made that running off the PlayStation 4 instead of an expensive high-end PC that the Vive and Rift require may mean the price of ultimately doesn't really matter.
I kind of agree with that. And it depends on games.
Right.
If the right games are there, I mean, I don't even know what games are going to be for launch for it, but I think I'm going to get it at launch.
There's a mixture of there's 15 titles at launch. Some of it's like very light games, like very like
like Barbie Pony.
Yeah, like arcadey you walk in, you do something, and you can continuously do it again. They call it carnival games type of deal.
Oh, okay.
You feel me, like on that?
Yeah, where it's like you play for like 5 minutes and then you're done.
Right, and it's more of an experience. And then there's other like game type demos where you kind of experience something, but maybe last 15 minutes. There's not really true.
I'm kind of okay with those if I'm gonna like have a party kind of thing, but I don't have enough friends. Even if I did, no one ever comes over. I want a full game.
I agree with that. And some of the games that I've seen out there, like there is the 18-foot robots playing golf. That seems cool, but that's kind of like Wii tennis type of vibe.
Yeah.
And then there's another one called Job Simulator, where you
go on an interview.
No, you're in your office in your different places, and it's like crappy 9-to-5 jobs.
Yeah.
But you control it. You can like pick up cups and like throw it, and like that type of stuff. There's another one called Zombie Taxi. You're a zombie and you're picking up people in taxis.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
So like, my thoughts on PlayStation VR. I'm gonna get it. I'm saving up for it. They say it's gonna be. There was a lot of speculation that it'll be like around $250, but now that there's speculation, that'll be around $400 to $500.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But that's kind of day and age we live in.
Right. And the thing that I'm concerned about is I love being immersed in things, but I don't want to be too immersed with it. I had experience with it at the E3. It was a concert. I forget the anime girl's name. Anyway, they put this the thing. It's very comfortable. The visor and everything. And it's.
Oh, you've actually tried it on?
Yeah. I tried it on. It's a visor. They put headphones on me, and the demo was I was at this concert. Right, and it was this anime girl. She was like singing, and everybody was in the concert, just like raising their hands. She had blue hair. I don't know her name right now. Anyway, so I'm at the concert, and she's performing ahead of me, and it was really cool because I look behind me, I look to the right of me. I'm surrounded by these dark. What was creepy about it was the crowd was just shadow people, with glow sticks, and I got a little creeped out because I thought the shadow people would look at me. And that would have freaked me out if one of them turned their head at me and was like, yeah. Anyway, so I'm watching her perform, and then the demo, it keeps going, and then it flashes me on stage with her, and she's like dancing in front of me, which I thought was weird. Because I was like,
It was this girl, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, Hatsune Miku.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her thing. That's she's not really an anime. She's just an anime woman that they put into music like she's a singer.
Right, kind of like Gorillas.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, she's dancing in front of me provocatively as well, and I'm like, And the thing is, like, I'm in this world, right?
Uh-huh.
In the real world, there's two people watching me.
But in the game,
yeah, in the game, I'm just having this like seductive dance with this girl. And it's very awkward. But I kind of was bummed out because I was hoping to get this one. There's this one demo called The Kitchen, right? And you're in the kitchen and there's this killer out trying to kill you.
Oh, wow.
And you're running around this kitchen and eventually like it attacks you. It's really scary.
Huh.
Yeah, it really freaks you out. So I'm going to get it. I'm just concerned about immersion because, someone could just mess with you.
Yeah.
I have no idea how it's going to work on Twitch stream on YouTube. In terms of like how I
want a game like Until Dawn.
Yeah. Well, there is an Until Dawn.
No, I don't want that roller coaster sequel that's coming out. I want Until Dawn.
I know. Speaking of scary games, next story. When you told me about this, I didn't believe you. I was like, this does not make sense.
Well, I wasn't into it at the time because I thought it was an American thing.
Right. This trailer called Ring versus Grudge. The Ring versus the Grudge is real. It's a real movie. And
check out the trailer we've got linked.
Yeah. This article is from Slash Film. And it writes, just when you thought every potential horror mashup had already come and gone, The Grudge versus The Ring versus Sadako versus Kayato arrives to remind us that cinematic monsters will never stop crossing over into each other's movies so they can fight each other. If that title doesn't ring a bell, it's basically The Ring versus The Grudge, pitting one evil stringy-haired Japanese ghost against another. This isn't a joke. There's a trailer and everything. So Dr. Bacon and I watched this trailer. We watched it together. And I was like, all right, I'm down. I love Freddy versus Jason.
When we watched it together, it was the first time we saw the trailer.
Right. And I love Freddy versus Jason. But those are things like those. That's for some reason part of my childhood. Freddy, Jason.
See, but that's the thing. That's why I think, at least for me, why I'm looking more forward to this. For Freddy versus Jason, yeah, we loved them growing up. It wasn't so much that they were scary. They had scary moments, but we knew the good guy was going to win. And that's why I like the Japanese horror movies more. They're scary, not just because of the scary moments. It's because we don't know what's going on. There's an actual fully fleshed story to go with it, and the good guy doesn't always win.
Yes, but for these mashups, right? Usually the monsters have personality.
Yeah.
That way you could root for one of them, because that's the whole point. I don't know.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, like, as much as Jason versus Freddy was a horrible movie.
Yes.
I loved it,
The
but
third
it was
act
horrible
was the best,
movie.
though.
Yeah, but movies like that, we love them because it's fan service.
Yeah.
While this one is fan service, it's coming from the source. It's coming from Japan, and like I said, with all that, those fully formed stories to go into it, there's going to be an actual plot that goes with this. This is actually going to be scary. I hope.
I don't know, because there was a part in the trailer that made me laugh. I wanted to laugh really loud. I'm gonna say it because I didn't talk to you about it. We're like save it for the podcast. Save it. Is when the Grudge character, which is the Asian boy with the bowl cut, who's blue. I think that movie had Cary Elves in it because he was at the very beginning. Anyway,
Cary Elwes, Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Men in Tights.
So there's this point in the movie where the character reaches out, grabs a VCR tape,
and tape, and he crushes it. I knew it was going to be that moment.
Why?
See, I think something like that, because of the difference of cultures,
VCR
to the Japanese, that's going to be like that's a poop moment. And for us, because of the things we're used to, we find it funny. But I'm really excited about that. I think for us, that would have been as if Jason found Freddy's glove and just bent the fingernail tips.
All right, that's cool. That got me going.
See?
Don't get me wrong. I did get hyped for it. I was like, oh, okay, that's a hype moment. Like Batman blocking Superman. Like, oh. But it came off so corny to me because he was like, is this your tape?
And another thing, out of context, too,
So what does he do? What did they do? The character said, oh, we need to get rid of the Grudge. Oh, I got an idea. Why don't we make the Grudge watch the Ring videotape, and then the Ring is going to go after the Grudge?
Yeah.
I think that's what happens.
Although, thinking about all these mashups, I think the Japanese were the front runners of it. Gojira versus Mothra. Soon, because of things like that, soon we're going to get Godzilla versus King Kong. I was going to say Donkey Kong.
No, isn't Godzilla supposed to be in the Pacific Rim?
No.
I heard that.
That I'm not sure if, but I know
he's gonna face...
after the next Godzilla, we are getting Godzilla versus King Kong.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I mean, because I remember reading that Pacific Rim was going to have Gojira, and he's going to fight Gypsy Danger, or he's going to help fight the.
You know what? Speaking of mashups and things like East versus West with King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
Listeners, what horror icons would you like to see from Japan against an American horror icon?
I that's a great thing. I would love to see that. Comment down below. I had this idea when I was a kid, and we'll bring it up again. It keeps popping up. Mortal Kombat X has Leatherface. It has Jason. It did have Freddy Krueger once. It had Alien. But I had this idea that it'd be cool if there was a fighting game with all these horror franchises. And I was like starting to write the script in my head when I was little, and I was like, man, it should have Chucky. Chucky should be in this game, and I think who's underrated is probably Chucky, because Chucky scared me the most.
And there was a lot of people were wanting. Although for the video game, I think someone did a generic version, so they wouldn't have to pay for copyrights. I think that's out there.
Those Legions, the multi.
Yeah, but also one that a lot of people have wanted since the beginning. I think it officially got signed, and somewhere someone is working on a script for a horror villain version of the Expendables.
Yes.
That.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I love the Expendables.
Yeah.
The idea of the girls, but I want to see the horror version of Expendables.
Speaking of movies, next story. It looks like Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One has found its female lead. This is posted by Luke Gallagher from nerdbastards.com. Word has it that the live-action adaptation of Ready Player One has landed its female lead, the best-selling sci-fi novel by Ernie Klein, which is the same person that you recommended the book of, right? The Exiles. Am I correct?
No.
No?
That was Peter Klein.
Dang it, I was close.
Writer for this is Ernest Klein.
I tried.
It's okay. A lot of people confuse him too.
For which the upcoming movie is based, sees a teenage boy by the name of Wade, and he finds himself competing in the 80s themed treasure hunt in a massive virtual world against ruthless corporation after the game's founder dies, and offers his fortune as a grand prize. Along the way, Wade encounters, competes, and later teams up with Sam, alias Artemis, a female blogger from Canada, and they're just saying they found the character in it. And does the article say who it is? Yes.
Actually, she's official. It's Wade Watts who was just recently cast.
Ooh.
And I'm trying to find that article. But yeah, Olivia Cook was cast last year. So they've got Olivia Cook. The villain has been cast. The recent actor they cast, I may be wrong, but I want to say it's oh man, I'm not even gonna hazard a guess. I don't want to say the wrong name.
I just remember that they sent out audition notices for that.
Yeah,
like everywhere.
Yeah, I think they're in final negotiations. But for those of you who have read the book, they're looking at Gene Wilder for the recluse character, and I apologize for getting the names. Although I am reading the sequel, or not the sequel, but Ernest Klein's second book, Armada, right now.
Man, Gene Wilder's been out of the game for a long time.
He has been, but he has been quoted as being interested in coming in. And here we go. It's Ty Sheridan. He is the one who has been cast as Wade Watts.
Oh, not Brady.
There we go. He's Cyclops.
Okay.
In the next X-Men movie.
Oh, in First Class, the
No.
sequel of the First Class world.
Yeah.
The '80s movie called.
It's not Age of Apocalypse because they did Age of Ultron and they don't want to do that. But yeah, it's the next X-Men movie.
Of the First Class world. Yes.
Wow, we are failing right now.
Yeah, I know. Someone's like, "Oh my god!"
But at least I caught like, no, you're doing an old article.
Next story, which is a new article, I promise. Sony files patent for the PlayStation Glove controller. Eddie writes, Sony has filed new patents for the gaming glove that will presumably be used in conjunction with its upcoming PlayStation VR headset. The patents were filed with the United States Patent and Trademark Office 2014, but they were just published publicly this week, which is picked up by NeoGAF. It has a thumb controller, glove interface objects, systems, and methods for providing feedback to a user while interacting with content. Let me just give you a brief thing about it. Is that the patent description for the glove mentions that it has flex sensor in the identifying track finger positions. Additionally, a contact sensor is used to determine if contact is being made. This is apparently for a virtual simulation of a hand for one of the multiple users at the same time. The patent covers gaming, entertainment, sports-related activities, and even human-to-human context such as virtual simulation of business handshakes. It's still other embodiments. Virtual gloves may be worn by multiple users in a multiple user game. As such examples, each user may use one or two gloves, and the users may be co-located or interfacing in a shared space or a shared game from remote locations using a cloud gaming system, network device, and or social network collaboration space. The last thing about it is that the glove itself, users collaborating may use the glove to touch objects, move objects, interface with surfaces, press on objects, squeeze objects, toss objects, make gesture actions or motions of the like. And there you see, I will put it up in the video of the video itself, but cool stuff.
Yeah. I at first I was joking about the similarities between a Power Glove. It's so bad, I love it. Those of you who have seen the Wizard, but I really like the ideas that they're putting in here. Multiplayer use, and possibly even having each player use two gloves. I love the idea of the motion sensor as well as a touchback sensor, so it knows if you're touching something. This is really exciting, and if it goes well, imagine combining that with the VR headset. We're going in a good direction here.
It kind of has this. For those of you looking at the photo, or you're not looking at the photo, you're listening.
This is very Ready Player One.
Yeah, like if you're in the car listening to the show, they look like baseball gloves with sensors on the fingertips, and the gestures that people are making are like talking gestures or
not like catching mitts.
Yeah, they're not like big mitts. They're very very streamlined, very close to the skin type of gloves, and I find it very fascinating that we're at this part. Someone asked a question, and I'll look that up real quick. But go ahead, and I'm gonna look up the question that someone asked related to this. But
like I said, I'm really looking forward to this. I really want to see a good combination. As cool as this is, I would love for Sony to make some kind of collaboration between the developers of the 3DS. to see all the innovations they put in with blowing into the microphone for like brain games or the mystery games that they have. I want to have those two brains come together and really make something awesome.
So here's the question that using the hashtag AskAmigos, again, is the great way for you to interact with the show. This comes from at LaneSanders007.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you for your question. He's also known as Bunny Bro FTW. What are you guys' thoughts on video game scene right now? So that question, the reason why I'm bringing this up now, because right now I think we're at this interesting crossroads or another milestone in gaming that VR is definitely going to change the way we play the games. But with this whole news of these gloves they're interacting with, we're just going to get more immersed in video games.
A lot more interactivity.
And I'm very excited about it. And
it's exciting to know that we're at a point where video games can be exercise.
Right. I'm telling you, I had the opportunity to play Hover Junkers. Shout-outs to the team over there at Stress Level Zero. Basically, they're the same guys behind Node. Brandon, he has a studio here in LA, and I don't know. Sometimes things happen to me on accident. I get invited out there to play a party, like it was like a party night, a game night, and then because they're continuously working on Hover Junkers, they were like, "Hey, you want to play Hover Junkers?" I was like, "Yes, I do." And I was out of breath because it's literally a game where you're ducking behind cover and shooting objects, and you're driving this ship around this area, and you're shooting at other ships. But my heart was racing. It wasn't not necessarily an exercise thing, but I got really intense of people shooting at me.
Yeah,
and I was very immersed in it, and it stressed me out, not in a bad way, but in a positive way.
Yeah.
But it got my adrenaline going. So that's what I'm excited to answer the question. I'm excited for today's state in games. I know that the PlayStation 4 is really not doing anything new in a sense of how we interact with games. It's just expanded like shareability, online streaming. But this VR is just going to be a way for like, I could tell my wife like, hey, come check out this game. You could ride a roller coaster, or you could experience this Until Dawn thing, and I'm sure she will get into it in some way. Considering like it doesn't have a controller where you have to worry about pressing all these buttons. You just put on these gloves and you're interacting with the game.
What I think is great about these new inventions coming out, and as long as they work well, is the implications of their use, not only in the video game industry, but especially like with the VR headset. And connecting it to these gloves. I don't know how, but like imagine implications of using that in the medical field and helping people out of surgery go through rehabilitation, learning how to use their legs again or how to use their arms again, because a video game is helping them do that, see it happening and then have it really happen. It's a great time we live in. The only thing is, because of how big of a chance this is and how much it could fail, it could either be leading to a golden age of video games, or we might be at the end of a golden age of video games.
It's definitely a huge risk. Huge risk, but thank you for the question.
I've been saying gold age a lot today.
You did. That's twice. Thank you, Bunny, for that question. Next story, Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon have been announced. This comes from Pokemon.com. As we celebrate 20 years since the launch of Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green in Japan, the next era of Pokemon games is being announced. Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon are coming out for the systems of the Nintendo 3DS family in holiday 2016 with a new world, new Pokemon, and new adventures to discover. Watch the first teaser of Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon at the top of the page. The link is in the description. They're introducing a Pokemon Bank where you'll be able to transfer Pokemon you've caught in the Nintendo 3DS Virtual Console versions of Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow.
So bring over that Mewtwo
and into your copy of Sun and Moon. Pokemon Omega Ruby, Pokemon Sapphire, Pokemon X, Pokemon Y can also be brought into Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon in the same way. Essentially, these are the first games in the Pokemon series that will allow you to choose from 9 languages to play in. And in addition to English, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Spanish, players will now be able to play in traditional and simplified Chinese. Much more information is on the way about Pokemon Sun and Moon. Stay tuned to Pokemon.com for more details.
I'm excited about this. I think Pokemon Black and White were the last Pokemons I played, or Pokemon games that I played, because it got a little too fancy schmancy for me. Oh, add a ribbon. Oh, this is the mood it's in. That kind of thing. It was a little too complicated for me. I just fire versus water. That's all I need. But with this idea of being able to transfer my first generation Pokemon into this newest one, it's one, got me interested in getting this new game when it comes out, but also getting me interested in purchasing the virtual console versions of those games so I can relive my nostalgia, or not relive my nostalgia, but relive my childhood, as well as porting those Pokemon over and still being able to play with classic characters that I want to play with.
Here's another question from the CheckPoint Amigos community. Comes from @DeLawrence, which is a great friend as well. She gives a lot of great feedback to the channel. I really do appreciate you. It asks, in honor of Pokemon 20, what is your favorite Pokemon and why?
Are we doing one favorite Pokemon or like a Pokemon team?
Go ahead. It's your question.
You know what? I will do my favorite Pokemon team. And they're mostly Generation 1. And it's from the point of, when it came out, I imagined if they were real. Mm-hmm. So I had real-world application use for these Pokemon. So I wanted Golduck to water my lawn and be psychic for whatever reason. Scyther to mow my lawn. Mr. Mime to clean up my house, as he kind of does for Ash's mom in the cartoon anyway. Charizard, because fire starter Pokemon. Always fire. And because he can fly and I'd ride him around. Dragonite, just because I love Dragonite. I think he's an awesome Pokemon and be an also alternative Pokemon for me to fly around. And then possibly Pikachu to run electricity in my house.
None of them will be your friends?
Oh, no. They'd all be my friends.
Okay.
But, like a worker dog.
Got it.
A dog on a farm dog.
Got
he
it.
has his job, but he's still your friend and your pet.
Got it. Totally.
Yeah. I wouldn't work them till they're, till they're done. I'd be like, yeah, come on, take a break,
Yeah, take a break.
Scyther mows the lawn once a month. He's got it easy.
I never thought of it that way. I didn't really get into Pokemon that much, but I've always loved Squirtle. I don't know why.
Squirtle.
I think because he looked like he was bald, and he just. I know he's a turtle, but I enjoy Pokemon Snap a lot, and I think he was one of my favorite ones to take a photo of. Gyarados was a fun one to take a photo of. On another side note, Snorlax was pretty cool. I love Snorlax.
Oh, in my older age and more laziness, I would love a Snorlax.
There's actually a side story here that there is a new Snorlax pillow that's huge.
Want?
It's $500.
Never mind.
But you could literally lay on it, and it's like you're laying in a Snorlax.
Although one thing I will say about Pokemon Sun and Moon, something I would love for Nintendo to do.
Pokemon Sun.
Have
and
the Pokemon sound like their cartoon versions. I don't want to pull out Pikachu in here.
They should be able to have enough.
They've got the technology.
Yeah. Thank you to DeLawrence for that question.
Man, I'm gonna be thinking about this the rest of the day.
Oh, beautiful. You could, guys, if again, we're gonna get video one day in here, get a camera, but Dr. Bacon's eyes lit up for that question. So it's very important, guys. Ask us questions so that way you could be part of the show, and that way you could make Dr. Bacon's eyes light up.
Don't forget, #AskAmigos.
That's going to wrap up the checkpoint, the weekly checkpoint. Now, on to the next segment, which is the next level segment. This is a segment where we talk about upcoming movies and games, things of the sort that's coming out in the upcoming week that maybe you guys should keep an eye out for or avoid, like Gods of Egypt. Here is your next level segment. London Has Fallen. This is a movie with Gerard Butler. In London for the Prime Minister's funeral, Mike Bannon discovers a plot to assassinate all the attending world leaders. That's how long that description is.
That's it. That's all there is to it.
That's it. This is the sequel to Olympus Has
It's a
Fallen.
Netflix description.
Have you seen Olympus Has Fallen?
Yeah.
That one's pretty good.
I loved it.
You know what?
The weird thing is, though, I think London Has Fallen is going to be bad, but we're going to love it anyway.
They all fall down. London Bridge is falling. That's when every time I think that movie, Olympus Has Fallen, should have been a Die Hard movie. It was totally a Die Hard movie.
Get out of here.
Yeah, John McClane. It was basically Die Hard without John McClane. It should have, because like Die Hard.
I can see it.
Die Hard, Live Free, and Die Hard. All those other Die Hards after Die Hard 3, those are not Die Hard plots.
No, yeah, you're right.
Olympus Has Fallen is a Die Hard plot because
he's stuck in a building with foreigners.
Exactly. And he's one man. He's by himself, and he gets the job done. It's like if someone like wrote a script for Die Hard, but it didn't get passed.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
They just,
Bruce Willis didn't like it.
Yeah, let me just.
I don't have enough one-liners.
Let me change the name John McClane to Mike Bannon. Done. Next is Zootopia. The modern mammal metropolis of Zootopia is a city like no other, comprised of habited neighborhoods like ritzy Sahara Square and frigid Tundra Town. It's a melting pot where animals from every environment live together. A place where no matter what you are, from the biggest elephant to the smallest shrew, you can be anything. But when the optimistic officer Judy Hopps, I love that name, Judy Hopps,
I wonder what kind of animal she is.
arrives, she discovers that being the first bunny on a police force of big, tough animals isn't so easy. Determined to prove herself, she jumps at the opportunity. Ha ha!
Puns.
She jumps to conclusions, Matt. To crack a case, even if it means partnering with the fast-talking scam artist Fox, Nick Wilde, to solve the mystery. I'm excited for this.
Just hearing about it like that, I wasn't interested. And then watching the first trailer and seeing that it's from the same people who brought us Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph, Big Hero 6, and Frozen. Those are some of the best animated movies out there from Disney that I really enjoyed. So seeing that got me excited, and looking at the cast, this is going to be an insane cast. You've got Jason Bateman, Idris Elba. There's a lot of other people, but like a lot of famous names. Bonnie Hunt. Tommy Chong is in this. That surprised me. I heard his voice and I was like, is that Tommy Chong? There's no way that's Tommy Chong. Holy moly, it's Tommy Chong. J.K. Simmons. You're going to love it. I promise you. Almost anything J.K. Simmons is in. It is an awesome movie.
Is Tommy Chong a sloth? He would be.
No. He's a yak.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Alan Tudyk.
Uh-huh. Yes.
For those of you who don't know, he was Wash on the Firefly series. Yes. He has actually made a great foray into the voice acting world. He's a great voice actor. Done a lot of DC stuff.
I loved him in Knight's Tale.
Yes. Shakira is in it. Maurice LaMarche, one of the top voice actors you will ever hear. Really funny guy. I would love to meet that guy in person. He's a hilarious actor. Does a great impressions of almost anyone you can think of. But yeah, that's just the top of the list. John DiMaggio, another great voice actor, is in it. So
Bender.
Yep, he's Bender. So you've got that. You've got great A-list Hollywood people in it and A-list voice actor talent. So it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Which is rare, because if you get A-list actors, you don't get the rest.
Right.
So cool.
That's usually where the money goes.
Excited. That's Zootopia. In the video game world, we already talked about this a little bit. Mortal Kombat XL hits Xbox One and PlayStation 4, so it's not available for the older generation consoles. It's essentially, as Dr. Bacon was talking about, it's a Game of the Year type of edition, but the main difference is that they have an improved netcode, and they added all the DLC from it, and it's going to include upcoming DLC as well. So,
right,
I'm really excited. I'm not going to get it. I have Mortal Kombat X, and I stopped playing it. The thing about when you play fighting games, you have to be dedicated to enjoy it thoroughly, or else you're going to lose a lot. I don't. That's why I don't really play them. I don't see too much of a replay value in them, unless you devote your life to them.
That, or you have friends constantly over playing it.
Not devote your life, but devote your gaming life.
Yeah.
Too. I like Mortal Kombat X when it first came out. XL seems like a cool concept. I'm very interested in this new netcode to see if it improves online playability, because I think that's the biggest thing. That's what Street Fighter V does get. I have been playing that online, and it's pretty good. So Mortal Kombat XL comes out. For those of you that skipped the boat on Mortal Kombat X, this is a good... Mortal Kombat XL is pretty good. And it's pretty hefty in the content department for single-player, arcade, stories in it, crypt mode, all that kind of stuff is pretty good. Pretty good. Next! And this whole weekend, video games, really, it's all about remakes in HD.
Yeah.
Heavy Rain is coming out for the PlayStation 4. Experience a gripping psychological crime thriller filled with innumerable twists and turns where even the smallest actions of choices can cause dramatic consequences. The hunt is on for the origami killer, named after his calling card of leaving folded paper shapes on victims. 4 characters, each with their own motives, take part in a desperate attempt to stop the killer from claiming a new victim. This game is great.
I've never played it.
Oh, it's so good. It was a PlayStation 3 title. I played it. It's fantastic. The story is great. Can't say enough about it.
I played the demo. I really enjoyed it.
Go play it. It's like it plays like Until Dawn, but I would say Until Dawn's a little bit more refined version of this, because considering this game is dated.
Yeah.
It's from the same people who did Beyond.
So
is
it just a port?
It's a little. They made it better, like a little bit.
Okay, just in terms of graphics, nothing else.
I'm not quite sure if they changed the mechanics, because there's this weird part where you use the motion controller.
Yeah.
And I hated that part. For those of you who probably know what I'm talking about, heavy rain driving down the freeway. But what's really cool about it. It's like Until Dawn, where whatever you do affects the story, but it doesn't have a wide array of cast characters. It only has 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the game is, I would say Until Dawn kind of cheats, because you could kind of get away with not pressing buttons Until Dawn, because Until Dawn, I feel like it wants to make certain characters live longer so they don't die even though you fail. I seem to get that the more and more I played it, like, oh, I can't die if I don't press any buttons, the character still stumbles through this part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus if another character did, they die. But this game, there's 4, you could die, and their quarter of the game just you never get to. It's a cool game.
Yeah.
Really good. It reminds me of more of like a French thriller. I think they were made. I think the people who made this were foreign, so it has that foreign thriller vibe to it.
Racist.
You ever seen Crimson River? It's a Jean Reno movie. I believe it's called.
I think I may have, but it was a long time ago.
It has that kind of taste to it. Next story, another remake. Not next story, but next game. I get so used to saying that. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD comes to Wii U. Restore light to the world, team up with mysterious creature Midna. Thank you. And embrace the darkness to transform into a divine wolf. Fight throughout the labyrinth of dungeons, survive puzzling traps, meet a cast of characters you'll never forget in this legendary Zelda adventure. You can also get exclusive Wolf Link Midna amiibo and add bonuses to the title in the upcoming Legend of Zelda game for Wii U.
This looks really exciting, especially how they changed a few things to make easier, like the drops that you're supposed to collect in one side mission, or not side mission, in one of the quests, and also the amiibos to adding bonuses to your characters. I think it's really interesting. It makes me miss my Wii U and wish I didn't have to sell it. So, I think if I ever get the money to buy another Wii U, this will be the first game I get for it.
I never really got into any of the Legend of Zelda games.
You're missing out.
Well, like on the GameCube and on the Wii and on the Wii U.
Yeah.
The last Zelda, I didn't even get to play Majora's Mask, which people argue is one of the best.
It is one of the best. And in terms of Wii and Wii U, as much as I enjoyed Skyward Sword, it was a great game. I felt it was a small step backwards from what Twilight Princess set up. And Twilight Princess that's the one to get for Wii U.
So that's for your Wii U fans out there, those Nintendo fans out there. And that's going to wrap up the next level segment. Here we are on the... we do old save? Yes, we do old save. And then we do what you've been playing. Am I right or am I wrong? I don't know. I don't know anymore.
So let's find out what we've been playing and watching.
That's what we're going to do. It's the old save, which is our wrap-up segment. I need to fix that on my little breakdown here because I have them broken up together.
I was going to say, something doesn't look right.
They're in the same part of the show for the past
I think you need to make new titles with how long you've been confusing these.
Oh, I know. I should just
we can brainstorm together.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
We'll go to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Taco Bell.
Brought to you by Taco Bell. All right. So, what have you been playing? What have you been watching?
It's been. I didn't have much time this week because, like Sancho said, we were in Austin, Texas for our friend B Magic's wedding. So I wasn't really playing much other than Words with Friends. And in terms of watching, I was staying with my friend Katie. Hopefully, she's listening to this. She said she was going to start listening. And so, in our little bit of downtime, we were watching Archer, one of my favorite animated shows. It's a lot of folks involved with Bob's Burger is in it. It's a very funny show on FX. Season 6 is coming out soon.
So the same thing, like I've been traveling a week, so all I had was my Vita. I played a lot of the same thing of Rogue Legacy, but I got into Freedom Wars for a little bit. It's a AAA title. It's pretty weird, and I wish I got into it because sometimes it's hard to play video games on a plane.
Yeah.
But I did my best to get into it a little bit. I only got into like in 40 minutes of it or so. Because basically the whole week was just spending time with family and friends and, of course, the wedding itself. I did get to play some Smash Brothers on the Wii U with my nephew, which was fun. It's really bizarre, and I don't know where I'm going with the story, but because like he watches my SanchoWest channel, and a lot of people say like, why do I keep my channel clean from language and whatnot? It's because I have my nephews and cousins who actually watch, and he was like, I'm playing video games with Sancho. I was like, no, I'm your uncle first, type of deal. But what we did was 3 versus 1. I gave him like 2 characters to play against him, so that way he'll beat me. So I did that. But the movies I was watching was I did watch 2 movies, or I got into one of them and then I fell asleep.
Fell asleep.
Yeah. Not only I was watching Sound of Music, which I'll probably rewatch again, but I did watch Furious 7. I watched Furious 7.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We talked about that, and it's just a good action superhero.
It's a
superhero movie. The action is so ridiculous in it. But I enjoyed that movie, and I started to watch San Andreas a little bit, but I fell asleep. I just love disaster movies, and that one looked pretty cool.
San Andreas is coming out with a sequel.
I know. I mean, what's cool is like I basically fell asleep very early in, like the Hoover Dam just got destroyed, and I looked up like what happened to the Hoover Dam got destroyed. So it's pretty fascinating that it said it would require a direct hit from a nuclear. Not even a direct hit from an atom bomb would destroy the Hoover Dam. So it would have to be an earthquake of huge magnitude to destroy that Hoover Dam. Anyway, so those are the things that I was getting into. I really am looking forward to 2 things that I'm going to play next coming week. I'm going to play Layers of Fear. I'm probably going to stream that tonight. And if you're listening to this, you probably see the replay up on YouTube. And I'm looking forward to playing a game called Super Hot. It's a puzzle first-person shooter where time only moves when you move.
Oh, nice.
So you walk in a room, a guy shoots a bullet, you can sidestep it, and the bullet keeps going, and then you shoot. When you shoot, the bullet keeps going too.
Huh, okay.
It's pretty cool, and it ends with like super hot, and then it goes to the next level. So it's like I saw a demo of it previously on Kind of Funny Games. They played it, and then they actually have I don't know if they have a Let's Play of it, but Up Up Down Down, Austin Creed, who is a wrestler who's into video games, actually has a Let's Play of it up, and I saw that, and I was like, you know what, I think the people out there deserve to see me play it. What do you recommend our CheckPoint Amigo community to check out? And just to recap, please comment down below if you happen to catch it. We're going to make an adjustment to it. We are going to do our best to pick things that are available on Netflix or on Hulu, or that way you could see it a little easier. We recommended Cloak and Dagger, which is an old 70s movie. 80s movie, sorry. Yeah. Masters of the Universe, The Professional, which I know is on Netflix. A book called The Exiles.
Exile from Peter Klein's, plural.
Mm-hmm. And Young Justice. We recommended those things so far. So
Young Justice, I know you can find on Netflix. For this week, considering Ready Player One, and especially with the VR announcement, I recommend Ready Player One. So you can see the connections of how, we might be going that way with all our VR equipment that we'll be getting soon. I just started reading Armada last week, which is Ernest Cline's second book. It's not a sequel, but looking at the similarities with the VR gear, which is also prominent in this book. A lot of people compare it to Ender's Game. I would compare it more to Last Starfighter, but again, I haven't gotten that far into the book yet, so it may be more like Ender's Game than I realize. Or Armada, that is, but I still recommend Ready Player One for the week.
My recommendation, I had one on the way over here after we ate Frito pie, and I think the Frito pie took it from my brain. It has that power. One thing I do recommend you watching Escape from New York if you have that opportunity. It's a John Carpenter movie starring Kurt Russell. It's a fantastic old movie, and the action is pretty great. It's very simplistic.
Isaac Newton's in it. Chef of the Voice from South Park.
Right, and the
voice of the chef, not chef of the voice.
It's a tongue twister. It's a tough one. I definitely recommend that. If you want, you can watch Escape from LA. It's a significant quality drop in how good it is, but it's so cheesy it could be good in that kind of way.
Yeah, totally.
You might like it. It has RuPaul as chocolate.
forgot RuPaul was in
Yeah,
it.
dude, RuPaul's chocolate in it. Something like that. And then it has Steve Buscemi in it as well. But that story, speaking of which, it's the character's L.A. is a prison because the huge earthquake happens. Speaking of San Andreas, a huge earthquake happens and separates the island of L.A. and they make it this huge prison island. Which I really like those kinds of weird stories.
Yeah.
Like Demolition Man. I love that.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, like those kind of movies share the same kind of elements of futuristic.
Oh, man, I want a video game version of that, like Mega Man.
They do have a Demolition Man movie game. Is that your joke? That game's terrible.
Wait, really?
Yes.
I didn't know this.
It's on Super Nintendo.
Oh, wait, no, not Demolition Man. I'm thinking of Running Man. Sorry.
Oh,
Never mind. I
man.
take it all back.
Well, that's more like Smash TV. It's kind of same.
Running Man?
Yeah.
No, I want a version of Running Man like Mega Man, where after he beats, Sub-Zero, now Plane Zero. You get to ice skate around like him if you beat him.
That's going to be our recommendation of the week. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Checkpoint.
Amigos! Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Episode 6. I am your host, SanchoWest, along with my co-host, Dr. Bacon. Were you going to say something? You leaned in.
Oh, I thought you were going to want me to say that.
Oh, it's okay. We'll work on it. Yeah. Those are the things. If you're interested, please, as Dr. Bacon said, like, share, subscribe. You can find us on SoundCloud. Leave reviews on iTunes. If you want to ask us a question, ask away down below using the hashtag #AskAmigos. That way we can put you in the show. Thank you guys to the people that submitted your questions as well. That was really fun for us to take care of. And as well, if you have something that you want us to talk about, you could leave us a topic question, like a bigger question. We will do our best to accommodate all you guys into this show. And I'm looking forward to this week, and I'm really happy that the show is making. I get messages saying that people listen to us on the ride to work, and that's amazing. And I get messages from people that I know personally that they say they enjoy it. So always fun times.
Goody gumdrops.
Yes, fun times here at the Checkpoint Amigos show. Thank you guys so much, and I'm gonna try. We're gonna probably be here every Monday, most likely every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. You could find the uploads on SoundCloud and on iTunes. So clear your Monday schedule because we are gonna be the weekly Checkpoint save for your nerdy lives. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, and as always, ooh yeah, peace. Bye. Bye.
Hey, Killian! Here is Sub-Zero. Now, Plane Zero.